Excuse me.
Okay, and Jimmy, go ahead, and Jimmy.
Yeah, Batai. Namo Fundamental Teachers Sakyamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teachers Sakyamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teachers Sakyamuni Buddha. The unsurpassed, deep, profound, subtle, wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million eons is difficult to encounter. Now that I have come to receive and hold it within my sight and hearing, I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual meaning.
So last week we okay, let's oh. Then we so we haven't learned this one yet, right? William?
No, I don't think we've read this one yet.
Okay, go ahead and start from yeah. Read the ring one first.
Okay. The inexhaustible and increasing fruits of bodhicitta. All other virtues are like the plantain tree, for after bearing fruit, they simply perish. But the perennial tree of the awakening mind unceasingly bears fruit and thereby flourishes without end. Virtues other than bodhicitta are like the banana or plantain tree, the fruits of which are limited and soon exhausted. For instance, a person becomes rich because of his practice of giving in a previous life, but the fruits of such virtue are gradually used up, and when these riches are finished, no more will come. In contrast, the virtuous fruits from the celestial tree of bodhicitta are inexhaustible. They are like a drop of water that falls into a vast ocean, and is therefore never lost until that great ocean itself becomes no more. Even though our virtues in general may be weak, when motivated by bodhicitta, their fruits will never be exhausted until we attain complete awakening. Why are the fruits of such?
Oh, you're gonna see it. Oh, you already see. Oh, wow.
Actions limitless? There are two reasons for this. First, since the number of sentient beings benefited by a bodhisattva is countless, the merit arising from such actions created for their sake will likewise be limitless. Secondly, since all such merit is dedicated solely to our attainment of enlightenment, it will not be exhausted until this enlightenment is reached. It is said that giving even a little food to a single beggar, if done with the motivation of bodhicitta, produces inexhaustible merit. If we lack such motivation, it does not matter how much gold or silver we give to no matter how many people. The fruits of such virtuous actions are limited and will soon be exhausted. When we realize how abundant the fruits of all actions proceeding from bodhicitta are, we will see that there is nothing more important than striving to attain this precious mind. So this, cultivating this desire to release living beings from their suffering, to kind of soothe their minds, to benefit them, to be, a cause of joy for them. Well, this certainly is a protection for us if we imprint this in our alaya consciousness, and so in future reincarnations, we have that same current. We have that same momentum that we recognize, other people's suffering is the same as our own. Then it'll save us from so many bad actions. And it'll bring about so many good actions and so many blessings, and the fuel for it will never run out, because we'll always see living beings, and there'll always be living beings who are suffering. So if we can really truly wish to eradicate their suffering, to resolve it, then in lifetime after lifetime, even though we may not remember our previous life, we still have this momentum of wishing to save living beings. So it's like, one, it's a protection to us from bad deeds, but it also encourages good ones. And it's not used up, because like once we, we're not doing the action because we want some benefit for ourselves individually. So it's not like, okay, now I've done this action and I've received this benefit, so in a future life, if we're blessed because we were generous, well, those blessings, if we don't have the right mind condition, could actually be a cause for negative karma. We may become lazy. We may become too just satisfied with material things, because we're not experiencing enough suffering, or are insulated from the suffering of others. Whereas if we're giving not for blessings in the future, but we're giving because of wishing for all living beings to attain like the perfect mind of the Buddha, well, then that then that wish, that momentum will be present in a future life. So it'll keep us on the path and just continuously bear fruits for ourselves and for others.
Good. So in here it said that that given even a little food to the single beggar, if done with the motivation of bodhicitta, produce inexhaustible merits. What is that?
Well, yeah, I would think if I'm giving food to a beggar through a context of bodhicitta, well, I'm wanting to alleviate that person's suffering, but immediately, but on a bigger scale, well, I'm wishing to cultivate a positive affinity, so that in a future life, that will give me an opportunity to help them in a greater way. So if my intention with that person is not simply to satisfy their hunger, but to create that affinity that would allow me to, for someone who's really realized bodhicitta, to actually liberate that person, to awaken with them the mind of bodhicitta and the desire to be perfectly enlightened. But that, one has to have a good affinity with someone to have the opportunity to help them along that way. So you have to start somewhere. Where if I'm just giving it to them for, because, oh, okay, yeah, this is a nice thing to do. Well, then it's done. I give them food and then it's done.
But if we just give them without the motivation of the bodhicitta, is that the same thing?
Well, here it's stating clearly no, and yeah, motivation is decisive. Because we wouldn't be using in the future, when that positive karma returns to us from that person, we may just enjoy that. We may, they give us something back and we just enjoy it. We don't use it to benefit them further. So then it's used up. But if when it returns, that the positive affinity returns, if we use it to benefit them further, then it just keeps going.
Good, that's good. That's really good. Wow, very good.
Thank you.
All right. And Jimmy, You want to try this?
Yeah, yes, where?
Start from beginning. The
I don't see it sharing on my screen.
Oh, you don't see it?
Okay, I see it now. Okay, from the green, oh, it disappeared.
It disappear?
No, I see it now. So the below teaching, that's
Yeah.
where I started.
Mhm.
The below teaching of the Buddha comes from the Earth Store Bodhisattva Sutra. The Buddha to Earth Store Bodhisattva. In Jambudvipa, leaders of nations, prime ministers, high officials, great elders, great kshatriyas, great brahmins, and others may encounter those who are poor, hunchback, crippled, dumb, mute, deaf, retarded, blind, or handicapped in other ways. Those leaders and good people may wish to give to those unfortunate ones and may be able to do so with great compassion, a humble heart, and a smile. They might arrange to give generously, either personally with their own hands or by arranging for others to do so, using gentle words, sympathetic speech. The blessing and benefit that such leaders and good people will accrue will be comparable to meritorious virtue derived from giving to as many Buddhas as there are a grain of sand in our 100 Ganges rivers. Why is that? Those leaders and good people will receive such rewards of blessings and benefits of having shown a greatly compassionate heart toward the most impoverished and handicapped individuals throughout hundreds of thousands of lives to come. They will always have an abundance of the 7 gems, not to mention clothing, food, and other necessities of life.
Very good. So, what do you understand?
Yes, yeah, more how I understand it is in the Earth Store Bodhisattva tell the rest of the world, include all the leaders or the high-ranking officers or prime ministers, supposed to be helping other and have a compassionate mind and humble heart to giving other when they need help. And those blessings and the virtue will carry for them into the next life.
So, but who are the subject?
The subject is try to teaching people have a compassionate mind.
No, but who are the receiver?
The receiver, that's like the people unfortunately do not have what they need to have, like handicap or deaf or blind and cripple and that kind of poor people.
But is that easy to deal with those people?
Not really. If those, I mean, actually, it should be easy if those fortunate people have an open heart and open-minded and compassionate, should able to help others, to the people needed. Is that right, hey?
Yeah, that's right. William, if those leader of the nation give all this thing to the people, like let's say that you give to all kind of different people, but it's not necessary to give these people. So is there a different individual? They
It's
also
not,
use the loving kindness word to those people as well, and also they really in passion to help those people.
are you meaning they're giving to people who aren't really in need?
Well, in need, it's not necessary to this kind of people.
It's not necessary to them. So the people they're giving to already have enough.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, versus if they gave to people who didn't have enough.
Well, let's say that they give to the people who do not have enough, and compared to the people who are handicapped and crippled and dumb and mute and deaf and retarded. So that's where let's say that the people who do not enough, but they are not in this situation.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, is there a difference in the, which is one a better deed than the other? Well, I mean, certainly the people who have some sort of disability that they won't be able to change, like hunchback, crippled, mute, deaf, they're certainly in greater need. It's going to be much harder for them to, through their own work, to be able to support themselves. So, I mean, and they're in greater need because of karmic retribution. So it seems that their suffering is going to be worse. So to try to alleviate the worst suffering over a lesser suffering, it seems that that would be the better way. Yeah, because if I just in my own self, if I was in a position where I didn't have enough, but I still had all my faculties, I could still hear, I still had all my fingers and limbs and everything, and I could work. Well, I think, yeah, if someone was going to either give to me or someone who had a disability, like they were deaf and they, or something else where they had trouble working, then yeah, I think they would need it more. So I think that would be the wiser course, and perhaps result in more blessings. I'm not sure.
Good. Do you know the 8 blessing field?
Is that there's I think it's a Theravada Sutra where they describe if you give to a Srotapana, or you give to an Anagamin or a Sakritagam, or you start like you give to someone who keeps the 5 precepts, or someone
No,
who keeps
not the one.
that one. Oh, okay. No, I'm not sure the 8 blessings field.
I'm going to show you. I think you know, but maybe it's in different name, I guess.
Okay.
But that's what we call 8 blessing field. Let me. I have too many. I have to look. Okay, let me see. Okay, I think this is the 8 blessing field. Okay. William, go ahead and read this one right here.
The Buddha said there are 8 different blessing fields. If we make an offer to those blessing fields, we will definitely earn a lot of blessings. Here are the 8 blessing fields. Offer to the Buddha. Buddha, the enlightened one, perfects both wholesome deeds and wisdom. Anyone who offers to the Buddha will eradicate his or her bad karma and gain immeasurable blessings and merits. Offer to the arhats or saints. Also the Buddha's disciples who end all the sufferings and escape from the birth and death cycle. Therefore, offering to those worthy ones will receive immeasurable blessings and merit. Offer to the Upadhyaya, most venerable preaching monks, who has virtue and ability to transmit the Dharma to others, so others can also apply the Buddha's teachings to gain the same benefits. Those who receive benefits from the teachings should acknowledge the gratitude and pay the gratitude. Thus, offering to this venerable master obtains a lot of blessings. Offer to the Sangha, the community of monks and nuns who carry on the Buddha's teachings, that now we have a chance to learn the Buddha's teachings. Offer to a monk, serve as a teacher of the monks within the monastery. He is an assistance to the Upadhyaya in teaching other monks in the monastery or temple. Offer to our Father. Due to our Father, we have this body, and he has devoted all his life to love, to care, to educate us in morality up to now. How can we pay back this gratitude in which it is beyond material? Offer to our Mother. Due to our Mother, we have this body, and she carried her pregnancy 10-month period with a lot of sufferings to give birth to us. She has devoted all her life to love, to care, to educate us up to now with unconditional love. How can we pay back this gratitude in which it is beyond material? The Buddha said at home, our parents are our 2 Buddhas. Giving services to the sick. When we see the sick, we then feel their pain. Therefore, we should compassionately provide medication, treatment, and use loving kindness, words to comfort them, to let them feel less pain and have more peace of mind. In Buddhism, we believe in reincarnation, that we have undergone countless lives in the past, and each life we had a pair of parents. Therefore, we had numberless parents. Thus, all living beings are our parents, including the sick. In these 8 blessings fields, offering to the sick is the #1 blessing field.
What do you think? Why not
Well,
to the other hat, or to our parent, or to the monk?
Well, I mean, they're in a better situation than someone who is sick. And in a future existence, if we have some karma that ripens and we're sick, well, surely we would wish that someone would help us if we were unable to help ourselves, because it's a very vulnerable position. And all beings have Buddha nature. So in, protecting those who are vulnerable, then we're, in a way we are offering to the Buddha, because we're acknowledging their value, we're acknowledging their potential to realize Buddhahood.
Okay. Let me explain to you so we understand. This is my understanding. Okay. When we offer to the Buddha, right, and to the Arhat, and to the Upanikaya or Sangha or the monk, right? All these things here relate to the reference field, because we respect them, right? Therefore, we make an offer to them. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about our parent? Well, our parent, we have it's our duty to repay their gratitude. Right?
Mhm.
It's our obligation to do that. But the sick, they are not related to us, right? They are stranger, and we be able to do that. It's mean compassion. This is truly compassion. Does it make sense?
Yes.
This is the Bodhicitta. If we offer to the Buddha or to the monk or to the parent, it's not really Bodhicitta, because it won't help us to generate the loving kindness and compassion. But to the sick, just like in the Untitled Bodhisattva Sutra we just read it, if the leader of the nation or the elder or the noble one, right, if want to do the giving, they should give to who? To the most unfortunate one, because that will help them to develop the compassion. Therefore, due to the compassionate mind, because we have compassionate mind, we want to help them. Due to our compassionate mind, the blessing is generated unbelievable. Right? This is very important. So, and also, let's say that we have 8 different options to offer at the same time. Usually we go to the Buddha, we offer to the Buddha. Right? We may not think about our parent. Or we go to the monk and we may not think about our parent. But then we will actually, the sick people, we will overlook. We never can, we may not, or even almost never consider them at our devotion to help them. If we don't understand this correctly, then you know what the Bodhicitta, then we don't know how to develop our Bodhicitta. This is the one time when the Buddha was in the world, right? There were the monks who were very sick, but no one take care of him. And his pain make him suffer very much. Even the monk lived nearby, in that quarter of the monk quarter, right? The sleeping quarter. They care less about this monk. And you know what? Buddha personally came to this monk and he physically with Ananda bake this monk and also take care of this monk from his hand, because he wanted to seek the monk. This is the most blessing field. Even the monk during that time, they don't even they don't even aware of this thing. If Buddha don't teach this, then we do not know, right? So so this is important. This is very important. Let's say that the people who do this because they are really have compassion. But the one who offer to the Buddha doesn't mean that they have compassion. No, they do not. Because there is no opportunity for them to develop the compassion when we offer to the Buddha. Well, we got blessing, of course, a lot of blessing. And Jimmy, you understand, and Jimmy? Yeah. So this,
yes. So another word that means is what we should do to generate that bodhicitta mind. Then we need to help the people that need help.
the most,
Is that correct statement?
yeah, that's correct. We need
Okay.
to provide need for help for the most unfortunate one.
Yes, absolutely.
At the,
Agree.
at the temple, usually I do
Yes.
the temple. At the temple, they every day there would homeless people come to the temple and ask for food, and we always give out. And you know what? Sometimes they have to show us the attitude.
Oh, they do? Really?
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised. Why do they want to do that? Why do they give an attitude with it if they need help already and we provide help for them?
But anyway.
You got it.
But
Because it's just tell us that we live in the samatha world. People not realize it.
and especially for the COVID pandemic, the front line, right? The front line, they are very hero. They are very brave. They risk their life, right, to help at the beginning when the pandemic came out, right? They are the one who in the front line to fight for it. And yeah, a lot of sad story come from that. They lost their life to the transmission, right? The contagious of the disease. What do you think if the people in that situation and they die with that situation? What do you think? Is that a good thing to die for it? William?
If they're working to help other people, I think that's the best thing if one's going to die. There was Lisa just told me a story about one of the patients who came in to her part-time job to get an medication infusion, and she said how her mother had just died, and she died because this woman's daughter was walking with her grandmother, and their dog, a little puppy, went into the river and was getting like carried away by the river. So the daughter could swim. She jumped in to get the puppy, but the current was pretty strong. So she was able to like get the puppy to the like shore, I guess, but she couldn't get up. So the grandmother had to jump into the river to save this 12-year-old girl. And she was able to save her and get out. And then she died of a heart attack. And I mean, nobody wanted that to happen, but we all have to die sometime. And to die in service, a selfless thing of helping someone else in a moment of need. I mean, that has to carry with it blessings.
This is the meaningful deed that they do, right? For the last moment of their life, they give up their body, especially for they know that for the COVID, right? They know that it's a deadly disease at the beginning. A lot of people died from it, right? It's very scary. And you know what? The doctor, the nurse, and CNA, all those people, they risk their own life, and they are the one who in the front line and fought for this fight for this battle. And you know what? If they die during the service, the blessing that they have is unbelievable. If they have them, if the one who died with the loving kindness heart or compassionate even more, the blessing is unbelievable. But if someone die because of the service, they have to go, because their job, they have to do it. But it's still good for them anyway. But the blessing compared to the first one, it's uncomparable, but it's still great. It's still great blessing. Because the first one that they actually want to do this due to the compassionate heart they have. And the whole life, they want to benefit, even sacrifice their own life. Oh my goodness, this kind of blessing they have, no one can calculate it. It's unbelievable. The material reward, it no need to count, right? But and also eventually they will walk on the Bodhisattva path, and they will become the Buddha. Okay. So that's
that in the Lotus Sutra, there's the phrase converting the Bodhisattvas. It comes up multiple times, where it seems it's a concept. It seems to say, these are, there are beings who are already practicing these compassionate actions, but who in the lifetime that, they're converted to the Buddha's teachings, they're not actually aware of the Buddha's teachings, but they're already practicing these compassionate actions, maybe from Buddhas from the past. That's what that makes me think of, is that idea of converting bodhisattvas, because they would really readily recognize the Buddha's teachings.
Converting bodhisattva.
Yeah, there's like one phrase, it's like, or I see Buddha sons proficient in both meditation and wisdom, who use immeasurable numbers of similes to expound the law. They delight in preaching the law, converting the bodhisattvas, and defeating the legions of the devil, beating the Dharma drum and defeating the legions of the devil. There's other phrases where they talk about converting the bodhisattvas, because usually I would think of a bodhisattva as someone who's already been converted, who's already Buddhist. But if these, you're mentioning how eventually they'll walk, achieve Buddhahood, these people who maybe haven't ever heard about Buddhism, but they're just practicing good actions because they're they're sensitive to the suffering of others, so that they're already bodhisattvas, but in this life they may not be aware of the Buddha's teaching consciously.
You can also think about this. The South here and Pasika Buddha, right? They are not bodhisattva. But if when they listen to the Buddha teaching in the Dhamma Flower Sutra, that they are converted to the bodhisattva. Does it make sense? Because that means they go on to have the Bodhicitta. They will resolve, they will generate the Bodhicitta. And that is what the Bodhisattva are about. Because they are the South here or the Pasika Buddha, they are the mind of that level. They never have any Bodhicitta for the Bodhisattva. But they do have the Bodhicitta for their level, but not to the level of the Bodhisattva. So if they, after they hearing the Buddha teaching in that way, they go into practice the Bodhisattva, it also means converted Bodhisattva. I think in the sutra, this is the situation. Because the whole purpose of the Dhamma flower is helping the South here and the Pasika Buddha to understand that the achievement, that enlightenment, the attainment that they have is not enough. They have to move on. The nirvana they have, it's not enough. It's just it's just illusion, right? So they have to move on. They have to give up that thing and move on. So one, they be able to give up whatever they have, and they move on with the Bodhisattva practice. This is converted Bodhisattva. This is, I think this wood is more for them than for the non-Buddhists.
Okay.
Because that's the whole purpose of the Buddha coming to this world, to make sure that we, he confirmed that all living beings have Buddha nature. And he wants us to understand the Buddha teaching, right? In the Buddha vehicle, right? Level. Okay, that's really good. Let's go back here. Okay, let's do another one right here. Okay, William, you read another teaching of the Buddha come from the Earth Store Bodhisattva Sutra.
Moreover, Earth Store, in the future, leaders of nations, Brahmins, and others may have compassionate thoughts upon seeing the old, the sick, or women in childbirth, and may provide them with medicinal herbs, food, drink, and bedding, so as to make them peaceful and comfortable. The blessings and benefits derived from doing that are quite inconceivable. For 1,000 eons, they will always be lords of the pure dwelling heavens. For 2,000 eons, they will be lords of the 6 desire heavens. They will ultimately attain Buddhahood. They will never fall into the evil paths, and for hundreds of thousands of lives, they will hear no sounds of suffering. Moreover, Earth Store, if in the future leaders of nations, Brahmins, and others can give in that way, they will receive limitless blessings. If in addition they are able to dedicate that merit, be it great or small, they will ultimately attain Buddhahood. How much more easily will they be able to attain the rewards of becoming Shakra, Brahma, or a wheel-turning king? Therefore, Earth Store, you should urge beings everywhere to learn to give in those ways.
So what do you think?
Yeah, that this, from one perspective, it could be seen as something relatively small. But here the Buddha's making it clear that it's huge, to take care of those that are vulnerable. The old, the sick, women who are in childbirth. And these aren't necessarily like unreasonable things, like giving medicine or support or keeping them safe. Like they're, fairly reasonable, doable actions that result in such amazing blessings and being, assuring, the assurance to attain Buddhahood.
Okay, there was one, I remember, Tammy, she asked me one time, when I told her about story about the Maha Moggallana, he the way he died, right?
Mm-hmm.
That means he killed by the thief, right? The robber, the thief, right?
Mm-hmm.
And terribly. And due to his past, he killed his parents. And I remember, I don't know, she or someone else asked me that, why killing the parent, only one action like that? And we have to be endure the pain in the hell for a long time. And even that, when we become a human, we have to endure for the 500 lifetime to be killed by like that, by the robber, by the thief. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's a reasonable question, because there's other descriptions of other actions, like I think it's like if a bodhisattva so much as passes a glass of wine to someone else, that they will be born without a hand for 300 lifetimes or something. I'm not saying it exactly, but
Mhm.
it's something like that where these consequences can be tremendous. Now, whether it's exactly true or not, it definitely has the effect of motivating people not to do those actions. So it's definitely like a you know, it's scary. Like, you know, definitely I don't want to have that. So I think that's one reason it would be in the teachings. But
So you
if
say that the Buddha teaching it to scare the people?
no, I'm saying for someone who has some sort of doubt in the Buddha's teachings and who may question whether or not that's actually true, well, looking at it from one perspective, it's a way to motivate people away from evil. But I mean, but karmically, to to kill the one who made the greatest sacrifices for you, to kill the one who the one's parents who, we wouldn't be here without them, to take the body that they were instrumental in creating, instrumental in its creation of, to take that and then turn it against them. Well, that is, I mean, that's just such a deep misunderstanding of the way of things, that one has so completely set themselves in opposition to all that is good, that, of course, tremendous suffering would follow. It's because that's just such a deep error. That's such a deep mistake for someone to make, that the suffering would have to be tremendously deep as well.
Okay, if someone complain like that, what about this teaching right here? The Buddha said that if we have the compassionate thought, help the old, the sick, the woman, the woman in childbirth, right, and provide them with the medicine, ring and bedding to make sure they peaceful and comfortable. But the blessing we have is huge, right? Well, for 1,000 eon, that means it's a long time. They will always be lower up the pure, the well, helping. You know where it is? There are 5 heaven of the pure, the well heaven. It's in the form realm. In the form realm, we have 18 different heaven, and the first 13 represent for the 4 chana. Remember?
Okay.
The last 5 represent, this is for the third arahat, that means the non-returner. After they give up the body, they will go here and they stay in there until they reach the nirvana, the arahat. Okay. So anyway, so they will be the law of that. And also for 200 eon, there will be the law of, that's a lot, right? That's huge.
Yeah.
Such a small good deed to do that much. Oh my, how do we believe that? So if someone complain about the karma, we pray bad and we have to endure a lot of problem, suffering, how about this?
Yeah, it's a sort of equally opposite effect.
Right. Yes, I agree and I understand, but the human being right now, they not really want to do that, and nobody want to follow that, Buddha path, and then they try to benefit themselves first before they get the result, and then even whoever say to them, they will ignore us or whatever, they will see, look, what Jimmy talking about? He's just kind of, what's going on there? Well, what Jimmy know or whatever, the case may be. That's why we are in the world we in right now. Even, in Afghanistan, after the Taliban took in over, a year now, nothing happening, and they're not helping the Afghan people and what they say before. So that's just kind of, complicated and so hard for people to understand and then try to do what they supposed to do, because everybody have Buddhahood in this in their mind, but it being covered from so many years or whatever,
This is my understanding. The one who killed the parent, right? That means they are very evil. Due to their ignorance, due to their greedy, hatred, all those things. One they die, right? And you know what? In that story, that means the son, right, very remorse about his deed. Because the parent, when they near death, right, they said that son, go run away because they are robber here. They will kill you. We are old and it's okay, we can die, but you go. Due to that, when the parent, even on the ring of death, they still care for their son. Due to that, the inner shame inside the son arise. Right? He feels so remorse. And you know what? When he died, even though, because due to that deed, right, he had to suffer. And you know what? When he in the situation of environment of suffering, torturing, of both physically and mentally, and you know what? Do you think that he have the mind of love and kind? Can he be able to have any kind of mind raised for the good thought? William?
No, yeah, he wouldn't be able, if he couldn't have pity on his own parents.
No, I mean, when we been tortured, because it's constantly been tortured night and day in every single second, minute, right? So do you think that we have any, even a tiny time for us to think about for other, or to think about the remorse? No.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, I don't know, probably not. Maybe remorse. Maybe I wish I hadn't done whatever got me into this situation because I want to be out of it. But if it's so terrible of suffering, you probably couldn't even form that sort of thought.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be able to think about that thought because very painful and very torture. And therefore, and he only think about the pain, right? Just like, and he keep worry about his pain. Just like when we in the prison, right? One day in the prison, just like one year. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like 1 year long, right? But it's only one day. So it's also meaning behind that. It means that it's a long time due to because we do not have any kind of chance to raise any good thought. Therefore, we have to pay until we pay all our debt. But even though when we get out, right, and we still not easily have a chance to see the good advisor, a good teaching, right? If we still hang out with the bad guy, right? Well, we remember the law of cause and effect. It's not cause and effect. The middle one is condition. And the condition is change the result. Does that make sense? Even though we have a bad cause, but if we do not do anything about the condition, we go with the flow, then that means the effect, definitely you will pay for it. And sometimes even we pray, even worse condition, we make the effect even heavier. But when we understand the teaching of the Buddha, we are about to change because we practice. That is we change the condition. Does it make sense? And that is the bad cause plus good condition, the effect will be okay. And depend on how quick you be able to produce the good condition continuously to pay out there quickly. What about the people who do and who have the compassionate mind and help the old, the sick, the woman with the childbirth, right? Even though the action is very small, right, immaterially, but the heart, the mind is very big, it's vast, because they come from the compassionate mind, right? And you know what? When they do that, the joy come from there. It's not the material joy. It's the mind of compassion. Does it make sense? And you know what? When they are near death, they remember the result they done in this life. The compassionate mind even greater and greater. So we always in the mind of that. We always in that manner, and even we make the compassionate mind even greater. Therefore, the result will become greater and greater. Does it make sense? This is important, very important. So it's not the material, but as the action. It's not the action, but the mind. That's why it makes us, even though we do good deeds for a small thing, but when we, and also when we, and in here, it said that if we dedicate this to the great or small, if we dedicate this to the Dharma realm of the living being, right? In here, they should say that. We regard it great or small deed that we have, eventually we will become Buddhahood. That means we make our blessing even bigger when we dedicate our blessing to the Dharma realm, living being. Because that is considered big or small due to the compassion of the mind where we focus to. So this is important. That's why if we know how to generate the Bodhicitta in this way, this will help us a lot. So the mind of enlightened, it doesn't mean that we enlighten, but when we read something, we be able to understand that in the way that, like the Buddha teach, and we are easily be liberated from the suffering. Because suffering is from our mind. And liberation is also come from our mind. But the Buddha do not give us the liberation, do not give us the suffering, but he gives us the tool. Yeah? Right, William?
Yes.
So this is important. So if we don't understand the Buddha teaching profoundly, and when we read this thing of the kind of teaching, and we kind of doubt on it, and it will be a hinder to our practice. Okay. Okay. All right. That's good. We will stop right here. Okay. Good. Right. And Jimmy, go ahead, and Jimmy.
Yeah. More about that. May every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with heart of goodness, luminous and bright. If the people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in given unity, may their minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light break the darkness of the endless night. Because of our hearts are one, this world of pain turn into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise.
Good, thank you.
Oh, fuck.
So,
Yeah.
this thing is important. That's why we see different. The sound here and the Pacceka Buddha, they do not have the Bodhicitta like the Bodhisattva. That means there is no motivation for them to move on. But the Bodhisattva have even the one is just the ordinary person like us. But if we have the initial Bodhicitta, this is the right motivation for us. It will put us into the practice of Bodhisattva path. Yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone. Hopefully see you